Hey guys, watching Abundant TV tonight. We have a great show for you tonight, but this is way out of my league because I have not met this young lady yet, and she is really famous. So I'm going to bring on somebody that knows her pretty well. Hey Bob, can you come on with me? Hey
Hey
Bob,
there.
how you doing? I live
I'm
here.
doing
I'm lost. I'm really stunned. Anytime we bring on somebody that has really credentials, I get all choked up and I can't really interview them. And I understand we have somebody tonight that you can explain and even pronounce her name and bring her on so we can talk to her.
absolutely. This guest tonight is someone that I've grown to admire uh, greatly just because of the stand that she takes for Christ and the platform that she's been given. I've known her for a while. I've taken her on her high school band trips out to perform for football games and things. And folks, when she walks into the room, she lights it up immediately. Her smile is infectious and contagious. And I know you're going to be blessed by hearing from her tonight. So help me make welcome Miss Joscelyn Rulapaugh.
Hi, guys.
Hi. By the way, you're wearing a crown.
I am.
What are you? Are you a queen or a princess?
I am Miss Gatlinburg's teen, which is a title through the Miss America organization.
Miss Gatlinburg teen.
Yes, sir.
That means you're somewhere between 13 and 19, right? How old are you?
I am 16 years old.
So you must have. I'm going to do something I've never done before, sort of surprise them. But are you in your house?
I am.
Is your mother and dad in your house?
My mom is. My dad is not at the time.
Okay, is she old enough to babysit?
Yes, she is.
So how bad is it going to be if I invite her on camera? Will we have to stop this program and start over again, or can you get her here?
I think I can get her here. Mom, come here. Come here.
Hi.
Come here.
It's kind of a surprise, but I wanted to meet you because you're the brains behind this young lady. Is that correct?
Well, half of it.
So before I start this program, just so our viewers can get to know you a little bit, would you do me a favor and tell me the good side of your daughter, Joscelyn?
The good side.
The
good side.
The good side.
I don't want to hear bad things about it.
Well, she's definitely a blessing in our lives. Bob's right. When she walks into a room, she definitely brightens it up. Her character and witness, we're so super proud of. And we're proud of her for representing Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and just Christ overall in this competition, and just shining her light for the world to see.
I can tell you're very proud of her. Now, I don't want to take too much time away from her. I will say that I know that you sing professionally. Is that correct?
Well, sort of.
Semi-professionally.
Yes.
Okay, with that, I'm going to ask you to leave.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you, too. Seems like you got a very nice mother.
She's all right. She was still here, so I had to.
Okay, we'll wait till she gets out of earshot. Then we can. Oh, this is going to be broadcast. We'll stick with that, right? Okay, I got a question to ask you. In fact, let's start this way. We start that way all the time, and you're a Christian, and I would like to know what your favorite Bible verse is and why you like it.
Of course. My favorite Bible verse is probably a pretty common one that you would hear, but it is Romans 12:2. And it says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve God's will, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." That's my favorite Bible verse because I can relate to it very closely. I believe that when I am reading my Bible, when I'm praying, when I'm attending church, when I'm attending youth services, when I'm praising, all of those things that are so important on our faith walk, life gets a whole lot easier. And it gets easier in the sense that making the right decisions and making good choices just comes so much naturally because so much more naturally because I am following in the footsteps that God has laid for me.
You know, the theme of this program is real people, real topics, and a real ministry. Do you think at 16 years old that you qualify for our program?
I sure do.
Why?
I do.
Why?
Well, I'm going to pull another Bible verse in here that I am a huge fan of, and that's 1 Timothy 4:12. And it says, "Do not let anyone think less of you because you are young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, in the way you live, in your love, your faith, and your purity." And I serve in a ministry at my church that is for preteen students. And that is the verse that we teach them. And I have learned to live by that verse as well. Just because I am young, I don't let that hinder me in being a witness to anyone of all ages.
I think people are going to see that. Now, before we go farther, I'd like to examine a little bit about, because one struggle you probably would have, at least I would at 16, is all of a sudden you're getting a lot of fame. You won the title, you're wearing a crown. So what contest did you win?
I won the Miss Gatlinburg's Teen Scholarship Competition.
Okay, then taking it a step farther, that qualified you for what contest?
The Miss Tennessee's Teen Scholarship Competition. So that's the statewide competition.
So you ran for Miss Teen Tennessee, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And by the way, I see a bus there with, I don't think you rode that, but that was a bus for the Miss Tennessee, the adults, right?
Yes.
But that's the adults and the teens together in front of the bus, correct?
Yes, it is.
So
And I
you're
believe Bob was driving that bus.
Oh yeah, our technical director. And you're in that picture?
I am.
Don't tell me where it is, because I would. How many people were in the contest?
There were 24 teens and 36 misses.
So 50 people.
Just
And
about, yes, sir.
did you win the contest?
I did not, but that's okay. It was a very fun experience, and I learned a lot.
But you did get a title that, so far, everything I've seen about you meets that title perfectly. What was the title you got?
Miss Congeniality.
Folks, do you see that? That's what congeniality looks like, doesn't it? I won't ask you to answer that. That'd be a real tough one to answer. Let's see. By the way, we did have your father on a previous episode about weight gain, right?
Weight loss, yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, weight gain. Nobody wants that. And so, did you watch it?
I did. I watched a little bit of it.
Can you evaluate his performance before we go on with yours?
He did a great job. He's setting the bar pretty high for me, isn't he?
I agree with that. I think he did. Now, let's do a little more before we get into the main topic. What inspired you to go into the Miss Gatlinburg contest?
My 9th grade geometry teacher. One day I was walking out of class and she pulled me aside and said, "Joscelyn, have you ever thought about competing for the Miss Tennessee organization? You're very poised, very well spoken. And I think that you would do well in the competition." And I said, "Well, I've watched the movie Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock, and I am a huge fan." And so from there, we just continued talking about it. And she taught me what it means to be a Miss Tennessee's teen, and that is what I aspire to be. And so she is really my main inspiration for that.
Oh, wow. I am really impressed. I'll tell you why. I taught for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
It's just great to hear somebody give a teacher credit for their life and something that they did. And you did that. So I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
May embarrass her, but do you mind telling us what her name is?
Of course I will. Her name is Tiffany Ramey, and she is a teacher at Seymour High School in Seymour, Tennessee.
You said she teaches math?
Yes.
And
she
so,
is very, very intelligent.
Well, good. You've given her quite a rating. Is she going to be, by the way, you're going to be a junior this year. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Will you have her as a teacher again?
I will not, unfortunately. She just teaches freshmen.
But let's give a shout out right now to all those people that are going to what school?
Seymour High School.
Seymour High School. If you're watching right now, you make sure that when the school year starts, that you go in and let her know that you heard her name on national TV. So we'll give her a shout out. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
That would be fun.
Okay, then you actually entered the contest. And I want to know, how nervous were you?
Very. Very nervous.
Bob told me you have a saying about being nervous.
I do.
That's what I learned from Bob. And I was so impressed. I knew when I did this program, I was going to ask you what that saying was. Fire away.
So one thing that I always say to myself right before I walk on stage for competition is do it scared. And that's because when we are uncomfortable, that's so good. Very few good things will come inside our comfort zone. So it's good to be uncomfortable. We have to get comfortable being uncomfortable so we can go chase after the things that are good. So I always remind myself to do it scared, and that being scared isn't a bad thing.
Oh, by the way, just curious, you had to go to a talent section, right? There's a talent section there?
Yes, sir.
How is that singing before a full house, a solo? Is that hard?
It's terrifying, but it's one of the most rewarding things ever.
Well, I got some news for you, and this is going to surprise you. And
Oh boy.
if you say no, I won't. Don't say oh boy yet till you find out what it is. We had one of our crack people sitting in the audience, and we just happened to have video of you singing that song. That's not professionally done. It was probably done with an iPhone.
Oh wow.
But it gives the people an idea of what Joscelyn looks like when she's nervous. Do you mind if we play that?
Sure, go ahead.
Wow, that's tremendous. Did you win the talent part of that program?
I did not. There was not a talent-specific competition, but there was the title of Miss Gatlinburg's team that I did win that night.
Okay, why? This is the Christian part of our broadcast. Why did you choose that song?
Choosing that song was a very easy decision to make. Knowing that there would be people in the audience that maybe are not churchgoers, that are not Christians, that don't come from the same background as I do. Choosing that song was a way for me to share my faith. And that was very exciting to do, standing from a stage representing an organization that is not specific to a religion, but still getting to share my faith in that way was very exciting.
Let's take that tagline and go a little farther with it. How do you share your faith in other places? Like specifically, I taught in school.
In school, there is more opportunities for that than there is in the competition. You know, in the competition, we are doing very specific things where we don't get to use our voice very often. But at school, I get to use my words. I get to use my actions to show people who Christ is. And one of my favorite ways to do that this year, I actually had an opportunity to bring a friend that had never been to church to my church. And just those specific instances of bringing people into a faith family is really, really exciting.
Now, I understand. I know nothing about this. You're going to have to fill me in. All I have here on my desk is 4 letters. RISE, Rise. And underneath it, it says you're the founder of Rise. What is Rise?
So Rise is an initiative I launched months ago in hopes of seeing sex trafficking statistics decrease across the state of Tennessee. Those letters, RISE, they stand for Reaching Individuals Sexually Exploited. And so what RISE does is we take awareness and we take statistics and we take resources, and together we use those things to empower people, not just victims of sex trafficking, to find the help that they need to escape that life, but we also empower normal citizens just like ourselves to be able to go out and create awareness in the community so that we can hopefully rescue as many people as possible.
So let me get this straight. You're 16 years old and you're started an organization to be able to stop sexual exploitation. Did I get that part right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it informative? I mean, is this a place you go out and speak? Or are you actually seeing results where that you bring people home that have been exploited sexually?
So currently my main initiative is focused on awareness. And recently I've had the opportunity to speak at several Rotary clubs in my area and just make our community leaders aware of the issue of sex trafficking and how large it is in Tennessee. But I actually did have the opportunity recently to connect with the vice mayor of Sevier County, and I will be connecting with the Sevier County Sheriff's Department to partner with them and hopefully working on getting some of these people back home as well.
So are you at a point where that you're starting an organization that's spreading through the county or the state, or are you just beginning?
So this initiative started months ago, and it's been mainly focused on awareness up until this point. But now we are getting into the side of helping fight those legal battles as well. So as of right now, I am the only spokesperson for RISE, but I am looking to bring some people on board so that we can get this going across the state and get as many people aware of the issue as possible.
Okay, that's a perfect place for me to stop our program just for a minute, because you're doing something that is very unique and very different. I don't want to keep referring to your age, but I don't know many people your age that are working on a statewide initiative on their own. And I'd like for you to talk a little bit about if some young person or even older person, if you want them, is interested in helping you throughout Tennessee and maybe even in other states, how they get in touch with you and how can they help you? Did I word that right, or did I just say too much?
I understand what you're saying. I would say the first way for people to get in contact with me would be my social media accounts. My Facebook and Instagram are at the bottom of the screen there, so you can look those up. But I post a lot of stuff about sex trafficking, statistics, signs, strategies that we can use to help, as well as soon to be. I am currently building a website with my father, and as soon as we get that finished, we will be launching that, which will have, again, signs, statistics, and strategies, as well as resources that we can get victims in contact with if they need help getting out of the life of sex trafficking. So those would be the best ways to contact me. And on my website, I will have a form that you can fill out if you would like to help volunteer as well.
So they check your Facebook page out and continue to check it out. And as soon as you get the web page up, you'll let them know. Did I get that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How soon do you expect to have the web page up?
I am hoping to have it up by the end of the week. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that is the plan and that is the goal. So we're going to work on it.
You don't have the web address yet, do you?
I do not.
Okay, so but asking people to pay attention. Do you need money? Do you does that help your cause at all, or are you self-financed?
Funding is definitely something that helps. Of course, getting victims in contact with resources. There are tangible things that they need, paying for counseling, paying for material things that they may need. So funding is definitely something that we are always looking for. If anybody is wanting to help with that, you can get in contact with me.
How do they get in contact with you to give you money?
You can contact me. You can DM me on my social media accounts, or you can email me at missgatlinburgsteen2024@gmail.com.
Okay, thank you. I tell you, this is really important, and I hope some of you are listening on Abundant TV. If you want to give to a good cause, this is it. This is it. Now, I want to go a little farther with this. A lot of people that are young don't know how to get started and give of their gifts. And could you share with what advice you'd give somebody that has an idea and wants to do what you're doing?
Well, I think the main thing in wanting to make a difference in your community is to find something that you are passionate about. And if you don't have something that you are currently passionate about, turn an interest into a passion. When I first started learning about sex trafficking, I wasn't yet passionate about it. I knew it was an issue, but I wasn't on fire for creating a way for people to get home. Now I am. And the way that you do that is just by teaching yourself about this thing that you're interested in and learning all the ins and outs of it, learning every bit of information that you can. And then from that, you can create an initiative like I did. You can start an organization. And it really, everybody can choose their own path with it. It looks different for everybody. But one thing that I will encourage is for it to be something separate from a current organization or from a church. And the reason that I say that is because you can turn your initiative into a ministry. Sex trafficking is not something that's directly connected to faith or to God, but we are able to do that through counseling resources and being able to share the light of Christ with these people.
By the way, I do want to say a couple things before we close. One is from your viewpoint, what I understand is you put Christ number one. Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir. Yes, sir.
What would you say to teens and other people that not sure they go to heaven? How can they be sure? What do they have to do?
Well, I think it's very, very simple to do. You just have to believe in Christ. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life." And all it says is you have to believe. It's that simple.
Now, you said one thing there that I want to sort of explore a little bit. You said if you want to do something, don't do it through the church.
Mhm.
Is church attendance important?
It is. It's very important. As I mentioned before, when I was talking about Romans 12:2, when we are doing the things that we should be doing in our faith walk, when we're praying, when we're worshiping, when we're reading our Bible, and church attendance is in there as well. When we're doing all of those things, it becomes a whole lot easier to make good choices. And I believe being in community with other believers is a huge part of that.
Do you go to church?
I do.
What church do you go to?
I go to Pathways Church in Sevierville, Tennessee.
Okay, why do you go to that church?
I go to that church because the first Sunday that we walked in and sat down in those chairs, it felt like home. Everybody was so welcoming. The pastor preached something that I was able to understand and was very relatable. And praying over it, seeking God's discernment over it, um, my family as a whole felt very called to be there, and that is the most important thing: is that God places you where He wants you.
Does Christ and the church help you in life?
Oh yeah, in every aspect.
How?
I hate to keep going back to that verse, but again, talking about making good choices, staying on the straight and narrow. I mean, that is so important, and I wouldn't be able to do that without the discernment that I get from my Heavenly Father.
I can say one thing. I taught school for 30 years. It's tough
Mhm.
in high school because there's a lot of things that you can get into that your faith helps you in. It helps you keep out of. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, you know something, Joscelyn? I know you now. I have no quantities or no idea of thinking you're not a wonderful person, because you are.
Thank you.
I really appreciate this opportunity that you gave me to interview you. I can tell you that in all the years that I taught, 30 years, I rarely met a person with the qualities you have, and I want to encourage you to keep going. If there's any way this program can help you, let me know. In fact, I just asked you a question. After you get going for a while longer, maybe in the middle of the school year, would you mind coming back on again and telling us the progress that you've made?
I would love to. That would be awesome.
I think we'd love to have you, because you'll be a lot deeper into it along with school. And knowing you're going to come back and report to us will be a driving force in your life now, won't it?
Yes, sir, it will.
Okay, can we wave goodbye to everybody and tell them what a wonderful time we had? Ready?
Yes, we
Goodbye,
can.
everybody. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.